to Eyes Open Network. Today we're discussing the Spratly Islands again, the South China Sea. Apparently Australia has decided to weigh in and warning Beijing over the threat of conflict in the South of China Sea. Australia is getting on board with the idea that the missiles that China has deployed to the Spratly Islands is a militarization of the islands, and both the U.S. and Australia are now condemning China for having placed those missiles in the Spratly Islands, and as an act of militarization of these islands. Of course, China is defending themselves, suggesting that it's not an increase in militarization and should not be of concern because they should have the right to protect their assets, so to speak, which, of course, is where the problem lies, where only China thinks that they have right to the Spratly Islands, that the island that they manufactured in the South China Sea. So, Prime Minister Turnbull from Australia was very critical of the region's prosperity. Was quoted as saying that the region is critical for the prosperity and that China and the U.S. must use international law to resolve these disputes rather than the U.S. running their ships close by. The 12 nautical mile rule, and China putting missiles on these islands. Each side of the party is saying that they're not doing anything wrong when both of them are essentially doing whatever they deem necessary to protect the area, which is essentially escalating the problem. So there's plenty of research, or plenty of stories out there that have talked about these missiles that China has placed on these islands, and Australia's latest, which came today, with their urging of China to discontinue militarization of these islands because it's just going to ramp things up. The problem is that a large portion of the oil runs through the channels in the South China Sea. They are insisting that the island building Beijing claims that nearly all of the South China Sea, it insisted that its island building aims to provide service for search and rescue facilities, but also to maintain it has a right to deploy self-defense measures. So this is the argument that's going back and forth between the U.S. and China, that China says they're doing it self-defense just in case, we got to protect ourselves. Just protect yourself from who? And the U.S. is saying that you're militarizing the zone, which is not what China believes. So that's basically the entire mess that's going on there, and it's escalating on a daily basis by the sounds of it. Australia has decided to chime in and be very vocal about the fact that they don't want this to happen, that they don't want the U.S. and China to continue to push the button on either side, and that instead of resolving the dispute, they continue to ramp up either side. Each side, rather than talk to each other, just ramps up their side, then the next side ramps up their side. Before you know it, you end up in a place where something happens that is going to be manufactured as opposed to having happened organically. It's Eyes Open Network, February 19th, 2016.